Kicking off our first round of fixtures here. We're back for Group A in the EA Sports Cup. This is the Brazilian derby, as we've teased. It's mgcf esports against spqr, the Battle of Brazil. The question is, which Brazilian team will come out on top here? We are in the game, and we are already underway. On the flip side of this game, there is also another match taking place, which does involve Complexity and TGNIP. Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas, currently sitting out of this first round of action, is XL. That is the only break that they'll have tonight. Just across this group, Brian, it is stacked of quality. You heard it in the interview there from Olilito and Levy. Three of the teams were top 8 finishers in the FIFA E-Club World Cup last year. Yeah,
that's why it's all surprising me, of course, Gorilla saying that you got to beat what's in front of you. Speaking about easy teams, I don't think there are any easy teams throughout this competition. You've got teams that have performed on a 1v1 level and in a 2v2 format as well. You speak about the Brazilians, how well they done last year, and many teams throughout the competition have proven to be amongst the best teams in the world. So again, every opponent you play is going to be difficult, and some players can cope with performing under the lights better than others.
Keep in mind, spqr kicking from left to right in that traditional strip. Could be in for an early chance. Here is R9, the fellow Brazilian, looking to kick things off in this all-Brazilian matchup. Team mgcf from right to left. No surprise who the captain is in this team with the blue cursor. It is CREPALDI. We don't often see that level of personality from FIFA players, but by God, how much we love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's something that we need more in the scene. A lot of players need to sort of come out their shells a little bit. It's becoming more of a common theme amongst players now, because you kind of just need one person just to set it in motion, and then everyone else sort of follows suit. So that's something great to see.
And it goes both ways as well, because if you're on the receiving end of that celebration when you've lost 2 or 3-0, you're not a fan of it, are you? You're completely against it. Yeah, building nicely. Here's Team mgcf. Mbappe will get them underway. And it is Barreto that scores the opening goal.
It's a great start from them. It came from the other end as well. There was a chance from spqr where it was great goalkeeper movement from CREPALDI, but down the other end, turning defense to attack. They're using a 5-back formation. I believe it's a 5-2-1-2. So they had a lot of runs going forward. They had the wingers or the wing backs providing the width as well. But the build-up came through the middle with Zidane into Mbappe as well with the scoop turn. And yeah, great finish on his weaker foot.
And just on the back of that, we look at this group in general. I think Dr. Nightwatch was saying it perfectly. If you look at all the duos, the only team that didn't play as a duo last year is spqr.
Yeah.
We've had Nathan come in for Rampazzo alongside Felipe. Other than that, the team on your screen, they played together last year. The top they're wearing was probably their best ever outing in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. Top 4 finish there. Yes, they qualified for the Team of the Season Cup, but they were grouped in that tournament. If anything, that was a learning process for them. They had to go the long way through online qualification. They're coming into this, some would argue, yes, a different game, but feeling very good.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking about coming into the tournament myself, playing. Because, of course, you've got some teams that are new duos. You don't know how they're going to perform. It's still early stages of FIFA. It's only been a month since release. So some teams, are they going to hit the ground running? Do they have the relationship to perform well enough? Some people might not get on well with each other, but it depends to their relationship, how well they perform. And you can see some of the teams started off extremely well. We saw Focus last week, the best team, the only undefeated team so far in the tournament. So far as we see a potential chance here.
Building nicely. Mbappe looking for his second, defended well by Vieira. I mean, the teams haven't really changed too much from week 1. There has been, obviously, the out-of-position promo that's come into play. I did see João Cancelo and another Portuguese player, Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe teased into a few teams on the bench, if not. I have to ask you this question, Ryan. Who was the worst player to play against last week?
Oh, I'd say Zidane. I thought Zidane was incredible in terms of his in-game stuff. He offers a lot in the midfield, but what sort of surprised me a little bit more is the threat he has going forward as well. And defensively, doesn't have the highest defensive stats, but he does enough to cut the lanes, especially if you're manually controlling him and applying pressure. So, yeah. And
in terms of formation last week, when you were playing, what was the sort of the meta formation, or was it different?
Yeah, a lot of teams play different formations. We came up against a 4-2-2, a 4-3-2-1. But the one that caught us off guard was the 5-2-1-2. It's very good in a 1v1 situation, but in 2v2, as we see here, mgcf using it. Focus used 5-2-1-2.
I was going to say, correct from all Focus well using that, weren't they?
Yeah, they scored a lot of goals against us. They scored 4 against us, 4 against PSG. So it's very hard to break down, but again, it's very hard to say what's the meta formation. I think this year there's a lot of go-to.
Oh my! Oh, this could be a gift.
Wow!
It's a great save.
Could have been a huge mistake there. Tried to head it back to the goalkeeper to retain possession, but almost led to an easy chance there. You can't give away those sort of mistakes in 2v2. We learned that the hard way Giving away easy goals is something that you could pay the price. And yeah, again, it's something that sort of deflates you a little bit when your opponent doesn't have to work for his goal.
Especially in one-legged FIFA, Ryan. There isn't going to be all the chances in the world to turn this one around.
Yeah.
30 minutes played here. This Brazilian derby is mgcf esports 1. SPQR 0. We'll keep you up to date with that complexity Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas game as soon as we get the scores through. As I said, XL not playing in this first opening round of play here. They'll be on and in action from round 2, 3, 4 and round 5 here of the EA Sports Cup. All the action from Group A coming to you live from London in this $250,000 2v2 FIFA 23 tournament. Ball down the line. This is Cafu now. What an overlap for SPQR. They do their best to whip it across. Lucio maybe panics and clears that one away, but still does do his job. Starting to get a bit more of a feel on the ball, our SPQ up. And you're seeing those fullbacks just offering their support. There's Zambrotta and Cafu. How much longer do you think they're going to be staples before maybe someone else comes into that? I mean, as I said, João Cancelo could be that. Yeah,
I think Cafu might be a staple in the team for a little while. Zambrotta was sort of our weak point, if I'm being honest, in last week. He's not the fastest, but neither is Cancelo, to be fair, so he wouldn't be a direct replacement. But I felt as if we were sort of susceptible to faster players on the wing, on Zambrotta's side. But in a 5-back, if you have him in a left wing back, it's going to work perfectly well.
Who else plays there, though, instead of Zambrotta?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. There's not many options, so you kind of just have to stick with that until later on in the year when new cards are released or maybe improved versions.
So Dan, you mentioned he was deadly last week. Reverse Elastico. It was a good idea with a disguise pass from Barreto, who was looking for his teammate CREPALDI. Keep an eye on those individual player cursors above the in-game items' heads.
Pay attention there. Did you see the way he won the ball back with Lucio? Especially with the 5-back, you can sort of step with one of the centre-backs aggressively, try and retain possession, or try and is that going to be onside? I think it is just onside. Or try and retain possession from your opponent, but in a normal 4-back, you do that. There's huge space in behind, and you're susceptible for through balls or the first time L1R1 passes behind the defence.
Well, half-time in this one. MGCF do lead this by a goal to 0. It was an early goal from Mbappe in this first opening matchup here in round 1 of the EA Sports Cup. It is the side that do have the E-Nations Cup winner. All to do for SPQ. Half-time, as you can see. There is the all-important scoreline on the screen. Barreto was the player that did get that goal. But as you're picking up on that, Lucio, it needs that in 2v2, though.
Yeah, you do.
You have to command that between you and Shells. You know, who does the goalkeeper movement? Who is maybe in charge of taking free kicks?
Yeah, that's something that we speak about as well with defensively being aggressive. Because in 2v2, you can sort of fall in the trap of being passive. Just because in a 1v1 format, you're in control of every player on the pitch. In a 2v2, you rely on your opponent. So the best teams are the ones that are sort of in sync with one another. They play as one. So you kind of have to trust your teammate that if you don't press, your teammate is going to press. Or if you do press, your teammate's going to be responsible to drop in and defend for you. But in a 5-back, you don't even need to do that because you have the extra player there already for you.
And if we have to be critical, Ryan, how do SPQR break down this back 5?
It's hard for me to say because we came off of a thumping last week from Focus when they played it. But they're still in the game. It's only a 1-goal deficit with the second half still to play. And a common theme as well is going constant press.
Well, there has been a goal in the other game. It's between Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas and Complexity. They're the ones that have got it. The 2-time Club World Cup champions. They might have had the best of FIFA 22 years. They're back fresh for FIFA 23. And that's a massive goal for them. They're fresh landing in London after a very long trip from the US.
Wow, that is a big goal, I'll be honest. Fair play to Complexity. I think a lot of people would have sort of ruled them out based on last year they didn't have the best of years, but people forget that it's the same duo that won Club World Cup twice in the past. So they have the know-how on how to win 2v2 tournaments. They've got the chemistry with one another. But yeah, that's a huge... If they can see that out and get 3 points against Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, that would be a fantastic result. As we see there, another thing that you will see a lot this year is those passes, those chipped balls into Ruud Hullet, making the late runs in the box, but it didn't work at that time.
It was something that I think you guys enjoyed last week, Manchester City. I saw quite a few little chip balls over the top.
You kind of have to with the way this FIFA works. It's kind of easier because the lock-on system there isn't favourable for the defensive team, so you kind of just have to exploit that. As you see here, look, the run, he's clicked onto Hullet there. Even
R9 was teasing that run. There's a down from the edge of the box. It needs a big save, but the referee pulls it back for a free kick.
I'll be honest, this
what can happen here? 21 yards out, played short into R9 for a direct shot.
That's to me, I think you have to go direct there, in my opinion. It's close enough to go direct. We've seen in the first week, Fnatic with Tex and Diogo scoring a free kick just on the edge of the box. Similar distance out as well. And free kicks this year, in my opinion, are quite easy to master compared to previous years. That, to me, has to be direct.
I think so as well. Honestly, I sit there and I think, why have SPQR got a bit excited there and tried to play quickly?
Yeah, they rushed it. They had more time. But maybe it's worked for them in previous situations, who are we to say? But again, that's just something that I would look towards going direct.
Oh, no, and stop it. Anted it from that far out. And I mean, over the weekend, I think I saw someone score with Kulabai doing that from the edge of the box. So, I mean, try what you can. Last third of this game. Scoreline still remains the same. As we said, if you miss the goal, Complexity leading Team Bullet Ninjas in Pyjamas by a goal to 0 in that one. This is our first round of action from the EA Sports Cup, week 3, live from London. SPQR trying to grind their way forward. A couple of step overs from Jarzinho. Mbappe back to R9, who will dance quite literally his way into the box. He needed a good bit of goal, bit of defending, I should say, there
that
from
MGCF. That would have been special if he managed to pull off the skill move there into a shot, but it wasn't meant to be. But promising signs so far in this first parts of the second half. They just need to put a little bit more, maybe take a few more risks, because as we say, it's a best of one. They have to push forward to try and get that goal back to equalise.
Oh wow, that's a cheeky chip. Zidane's there, and so's Vieira, just gets his body around it. But we have to say that the team in the ascendancy right now is SPQR. They have been on top. Will we see a counter-attack though from MGCF now?
It's just discipline. They're playing the ball now. They know that it's the last 20 minutes. They can keep possession. They can stand still. They need to retain possession in order to try and see out and limit chances for SPQR, who now know that if they do get the ball back, they have to push bodies forward.
Cafu, when it goes all the way across to Hullet, who's made his ongoing run from the centre of midfield. And we did say about this before we kicked off the broadcast that maybe you don't think we're going to see as many goals tonight. I mean, last week we saw 28. Week 1 we saw 33 goals.
Yeah.
But with it being one-legged games of FIFA, I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to see, we saw a 0-0 once, you're going to see quite a few 1-0s.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of close games. As we say, there's a lot of fantastic teams here, fantastic duos, and after seeing the first 2 weeks, you kind of get a gist of how to play. It kind of helps a little bit more if you're maybe one of the teams that are playing in the later stage. You can sort of analyze what other teams have been doing and what has resulted in them getting a lot of success. But I think now for SPQR, they need to make some changes, some personnel changes, maybe some tactical ones as well. I think constant press has to come out. We played against Ajax last week, who are another set of Brazilians as well in PHC and Resende, and they pressed us almost instantly in the first half, and it worked well for them, because constant press is very difficult to play out of, especially because you can't dribble as well as you could have in previous years. And it's something you don't always get the opportunity to do, play against Brazilians, because, you know, connectivity-wise, it's just not possible. I always ask this question, the European style was just to play really, really tidy football and try and walk it into the goal. But I think you're right, times have changed since then, and there's 12 minutes left in this one, in our all-Brazilian matchup, where scoreline is still 1-0 to MGCF. There has been a couple of changes that Ginola comes on for MGCF, and so does the man that is scaring everybody in the FIFA world, Haaland. What can he add? A very useful sub, bringing him on, especially when you're winning, because he's somebody that you can trust him to run down the byline with his pace, his power, his strength.
He's an outlet as well, isn't he?
He's a massive outlet. Of course, doesn't have the best dribbling, so you wouldn't trust him. He's not somebody you play the ball to feet. You play it over the defensive line where there's a lot of space, and you do find that space in the 5-back because of the way, you notice how they're playing. They're comfortable to switch the ball. They're just keeping possession. And so I'm saying with SPQ, there's no constant press on it, doesn't seem. It seems as if that they're sort of happy to allow them to have possession.
Here's maybe the gaps that will start to appear. Barreto in possession. Yaya Toure around the corner to Ginola. They can conclude the game now. MGC are back inside. Yaya Toure's there. Pele's somehow back defending. He needs to be much further forward than he is. Time is running out and it's not on their side. Maybe they have to introduce this constant pressure if it's not already a thing.
Yeah, it really hasn't been something that maybe they've potentially looked to it too late. And this is the pass into Haaland that I was talking about.
They can conclude the game now if they can get this right. They don't need to, really. I'm sure they're just going to go back now.
Just discipline. That's something that you need to do, and it's something that we lacked as Man City, in all honesty, in the first week. Even in games where you might not even be winning. It might be 0-0 and your opponent is just getting a hold of the game. They're performing better than you in the last 10 minutes. There's no need to push forward or anything. You can just wait for the last attack, but this last attack for SPQR has to be decisive if they're going to get back into the game.
This is it. Now or never. We've played the added time. One big win from Hullet. No, the referee still says we're not done. That should do us in the Brazilian matchup. It didn't deliver in the goals, but it's delivered in a big 3 points for MGCF. A game that they probably would have been desperate to win today here in London. Their first opening matchup season. They get 3 points in Group A. And it is back to the drawing board for SPQR. There were stages in that game, Ryan, when they were building